Rex Ryan is making promises about what the team will be and who should be concerned about them and their division. And quotes from Saturday's New York Post, which he said in June. Rex says, quote, somebody asked me if we were focused on New England. Expletive, we're focused on us. We're focused on us and how are we going to be better? I have to be honest, I don't worry about them. They need to worry about us. I think that's really where we're at now. They need to be worried about us, Stephen A. Is he right?
Rex Ryan, see, I'm torn, y'all.
Okay.
I really am. Because on one hand, the man gets on my nerves with the level of bravado that he exudes without having lived up to it over the last 3 years. You got two 8-8 seasons sandwiching a 6-10 season where damn near mutiny took place, okay? And you just didn't even know if he was going to keep his job. And you look at the New York Jets right now, even though, you know, working on radio in New York, 98.7 FM, and hearing, you know, when Rex Ryan does something like this, it's entertaining, it's fodder for the airwaves, it's beneficial for people in my profession. But at the same time, I don't think it's very beneficial for the New York Jets. Geno Smith is still a huge question mark. Now, I'm not as down on him as Skip has been,
right,
in terms of talking about the absence of faith that you had even him coming out of West Virginia. I happen to believe in Geno Smith a little bit more than that. Now, 12 touchdowns, 21 interceptions is not impressive, and we understand that. That's horrific. But we did see some flashes of quality play from him. Flashes, I said. Nothing more, but flashes. And obviously with Michael Vick on the squad now, that's going to push him to some degree. But I'm not sold on Eric Decker. Okay. It's one thing when you got Peyton Manning throwing you the football. It's entirely another thing when it's Geno Smith throwing you the football, especially when there's still an APB out for Eric Decker because we couldn't find him for the 60 minutes of the Super Bowl. We saw him before the game because he was interviewed. We knew he was there after the game because there was a quote, but we didn't see him for those 60 minutes, okay? So you got that going on. Now, your running back position is going to be strong, and I get that, all right? With Chris Johnson, with Chris Ivory and those boys, I think that you got a 1-2 punch that could do some damage. But, again, there are still question marks. And then on the defensive side of the ball, your defensive line is stout because of Muhammad Wilkinson and Sheldon Richardson, all right? Your secondary, I like this rookie that you brought in, Pryor, who's a hitter, but there's questions as to whether or not he can defend. He can literally guard and cover tight ends and slot receivers. You know he can hit, and you know he's effective against the run. You don't know what he's going to do. Then you look at the corners, which is a huge question mark for one reason. Your number one guy is a guy that was benched 3 times last year as a rookie in Milliner. That's your number one guy. Revis is gone. Antonio Cromartie is gone. And I'm like, wait a minute. What validation do you have to make these kind of claims? This is the problem with Rex Ryan, okay? Yeah, you sit there and you stick out your chest with bluster and whatever. But when you did that initially, when you arrived in 2008, ladies and gentlemen, let's remember, you still had components on the defensive side of the ball that were capable of wreaking havoc. And when you combine that with his brilliant defensive mind, and all right, it makes sense for you to have that kind of bravado.
Sure.
But we've seen the defense dissipate in quality over the last couple of years. They haven't been awful. They just weren't what they were the first 2 or 3 years Rex was there. They've dissipated. Now you have no Revis. Now you have no Cromartie. Wait a minute. What are you doing? This is a problem. And especially when, I mean, could you win the division for once, please? Could you do that? I mean, just show up and win the AFC East instead of gift wrapping it to the New England Patriots. And by the way, watch out for the Buffalo Bills, too. I would not sleep on them. So to me, I'm like, really, Rex? Do you look, I'm confident we're going to be good. I understand that. But you're the team we need to be watching out for? Really? Come on, man. Come on now. Especially when this is a quarterback league, and that's your biggest question mark.
Am I right that last year Rex Ryan did not exude as much bravado as he had in the past? Did
yes, you are right about that.
Last year, did he kind of put a sock in it?
Because he was worse the year before, and they went 6-10.
They went 6-10.
Right.
My read on this situation is that Rex Ryan thinks he has a pretty good football team, maybe a very good football team.
Right.
And that's why all of a sudden he's big bad Rex again. And I will give him this. I told you before, Calvin Pryor is a bad young man. He's a young man, but he is a bad young man.
He can play.
And I think he's exactly the hammer that Rex needed in his secondary at safety. the hitter he needed, the force he needed, the young Cam Chancellor-esque player that he needed.
Yes.
Legion of Boom.
That's right.
You ran into that.
I ran into the Legion of Boom. And Cam Chancellor's a big boy. Good Lord have mercy, that's a big boy.
Ooh.
I told him, don't ever hit me. Lord, I mean, he's got muscles coming out his ears.
I know.
Okay, this is a bad young man, but he will grow up quickly in this defense. So I'm thinking that with Kyle Wilson moving in for Cromartie, who's been there for a while, he's okay. I'm thinking Rex thinks he has a unit that will give Brady fits again, and I'm sure it will. I don't doubt. They always give Brady some fits, maybe a lot of fits. And I'm wondering, I don't know if it's a Geno thing going forward or not. Is it Michael Vick? Does he think that Michael Vick is going to take over and win that job?
Well, listen, I think that Rex needs to win this year if he wants to have a future as a head coach with the New York Jets. You can't go. I mean, if Rex misses the playoffs again this year, he's not going to have any support in the Big Apple. You can't, and I'm talking about unless Michael Vick and Geno Smith get knocked unconscious and can't play, and there are circumstances that lend itself towards obviously you losing games. There is no way on earth Rex is going to be able to get away with a fourth consecutive year of missing the playoffs.
Okay. So in the same story that you read from, was it New York
Post?
Yeah.
Post.
Rex went on and on about how Woody Johnson has my back. And I do think that Woody has had his back almost to a fault. But Woody has always been there for Rex.
But give Idzik credit, too, because Woody brought in Idzik.
Yeah.
And Idzik was making some changes and making some decisions. And Idzik could have been somebody who was against Rex. And to his credit, he has sided with Rex as well and has supported Rex.
Okay. So this is a man speaking right now in Rex Ryan who believes he has more job security than he had a year ago, and he believes he has, I think, a much better team than he had a year ago. So I'm not going to write off the Jets. You know what I think of the Patriots? To me, at least on paper right now, they're the best team in the AFC. I think they're better than Denver. Okay?
So do I.
But again, do I think those are going to be two hellacious battles with the Jets within that division?
Yes.
I do. Not Buffalo, Jets. Jets are clearly the second best team.
But you have to draw a distinction, Skip. I'm going to hold you here. It's one thing for you to say that there's going to be two hellacious battles when they meet each other, because I totally agree with that. All right? But does that mean that the Jets are going to be the team battling New England for the AFC East? See, that's the question. That's the difference. See, Rex, and I asked that question because Rex is the type of dude that'll get caught up in the competition with the Patriots. But you only played them twice. There's 14 other games, and there's 4 other games within your division against Miami and Buffalo. And you need to beat those teams, too, because I got news for you. When you look at E.J. Manuel and you look at the fact that Buffalo's got Sammy Watkins and you've got a Spiller and a Fred Jackson and you've got that defense that had 57 sacks last year.
Marcel Darius,
and Marcel,
failed the conditioning test.
he failed the conditioning test, and this is after the drug possession charges and all of this, which is basically synthetic marijuana and all, whatever. The point is,
he might not be around.
I'm saying for a few games. But what I'm saying to you is that you look at them, they're 57 sacks, the interceptions. Their defense is something to be reckoned with. Their defense at the moment is better than the Jets.
Okay.
By appearances.
Okay. I still think New England will win 2 close games against the Jets, both home and away.
We keep saying that, and then they blow them out one game.
Okay.
They always
that
blow
was
them out
Geno's fault in the first game, right?
It's going to be somebody's fault, Skip.
Okay.
Ultimately.
The only hope that Rex Ryan now has of winning the division is Michael Vick starting at quarterback. Okay. It's the only way.
All right, the Jets and Ryan begin the season Wednesday when they report to Cortland for training camp. We move from football to baseball. Past the halfway